Hey there, this is Marissa with Marissa Moments Podcast, Healing While I Heal, where I share my real life stories and their healing translations. So let's just get straight into it. Here's the thing, right? Straight up, point blank, period. Manipulation is not love. Now, let's get into it a little bit more, shall we? Here's the thing. I've been recognizing and realizing that a lot of my relationships, whether they be former, present, past, whatever, have been heavily weighted with manipulation, right? Now, that's not to say that everything has been unhealthy and spiraled downhill or that I'm completely innocent in any of these scenarios. Heck, maybe I might have been the manipulator, right? Because none of us are truly, air quotes, innocent in any of these scenarios and situations, right? I mean, we might be, but for the most part, are we? We have to own our own ish in order to properly heal and ascend and elevate, right? But here's the thing, right? So let's take a real life scenario. And this is something that I've actually done in what I'd say a different lifetime ago. Have you ever sent a text to someone just because you haven't heard from them in a while and you're just wondering where they are, but your pride is saying, no, don't reach out. So you try to circumvent that rule so you don't look like you're too thirsty, right? So you may send some sort of inadvertent text where it's like, hey, don't forget to pick up 2 boxes of fish sticks, right? Now, obviously that's just a strange example. Unless it is specific to you, then that's to you, right? But then that basically opens up the door to get a response back, right? Because the hope in that moment is that you're going to get any type of response, whether they say, I think you sent this to the wrong person, right? And in that moment, you're like, yes, got him. And then you can respond and say, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to send that to you. How embarrassing. Anyway, how have you been? And hopefully open up the door to a different conversation, right? Let yourself right back on in that door. Now, let's just call it what it is, right? That is manipulation, point blank, period, right? Now, again, I've definitely done that. I'm not saying that I've never had any of these experiences because then they wouldn't be real life moments. Yes, I've been on both sides of that fence. And as of now, that is not where that's not where I reside anymore, right? The former me that used to do things like that was sitting in a place of fear, like fear of judgment and pride and ego and all of those things, because heaven forbid that I actually be direct and reach out to someone and say, hey, I miss you, or whatever the situation may be, right? Heaven forbid, because it was a game. It was all part of the game. And in all honesty, in hindsight, I was never a good player at this proverbial game called life, whether it be in romantic scenarios or just in life in general. I've never been good at that because I'm very just overt in my feelings and I try to be as organic as possible. And I also am very guilt-ridden. So whenever I do these things, I carry the weight of the world on my shoulders until I feel that they are cleared up and cleared out, because nobody wants to walk around with that. But anyway, I digress. The main point of this in the healing translation is manipulation is not love. Again, it doesn't matter which side of the fence it's coming from, whether it's coming from you or coming from the proverbial them. It's not love, you guys. So if somebody is trying to do these sideways approaches to get your attention, then walk away. Just walk away. If someone is trying to use another third party in order to reach you, walk away. You will know, use your discernment, because if it is manipulation, if it feels like manipulation, then your intuition, your discernment is telling you that it is in fact manipulation. Stop doubting yourself. Stop second guessing yourself. Know and understand your worth. And I'm not talking about monetary. I'm not even talking about in the eyes of other people. I'm talking about your worth to yourself. And that's the healing part, right? That's the healing part, because we're working on recognizing who we are. We're working on stripping away that programming, those false narratives, and that toxicity or generational trauma, to recognize that that's just smoke and mirrors, right? People talk about, having game and doing all these things. But in fact, that's just smoke and mirrors because they're too afraid to present their true selves for fear of rejection. Are you afraid that if you were to present yourself as you truly are, that you wouldn't be accepted? Do you fear that you would be abandoned by those you hold nearest? So instead, we choose to use lies and manipulation as some sort of, I don't know, cloak to hide ourselves behind? I don't know. Those aren't questions for me to answer. I mean, well, they are, and I already have, right? And I'm sharing that with you now. And the reason, again, I'm sharing it is because maybe you will see yourself in these stories. Maybe you will hear yourself. Maybe you will feel yourself. Or maybe not even see yourself in being the main character of the role in these stories. But maybe you're the supporting character. Maybe you're the supporting cast. And that doesn't have to tap into your ego either to say, nah, I'm the main character. Because let's just not do that, right? Anyway. Bottom line to this bottom line, because obviously I will carry on for 3,000 years, is manipulation isn't love. I don't know how many different ways or times I can say that for you to absorb it and understand it. That is for you to apply. Use your discernment. So that's it. And if this message resonates, then that means it is in fact for you. And if not, that's cool too. Just keep it pushing. Either way, I thank you for listening, and I wish you the very, very best day ever. Until next time, you know the vibes. Peace. Oh, and by the way, don't forget to check me out on all of social media. I'm basically everywhere you probably shouldn't be. But when you look me up, make sure you look up Marissa Moments, and that is Marissa with one S because there is only one me. And so until next time, happy healing.